Studios, England, on a bright and breezy day, and all manner of interplanetary species have got wind of a new televisual production. Security is tight. If your name's not down, you're not coming in. Sorry, my tin-plated friend. Your time will come in another dimension. Mark my words. Even though the riff-raff had turned away, you, the viewing public, are invited to a special behind-the-scenes glimpse of a new chapter of a TV legend. Welcome. It's a hectic 3-day shoot to bring the Doctor back to life for comic relief. So, how did it all begin?
One of the other producers' husband is obsessed by Doctor Who. And so I think when she started to produce the show, he thought this was an ideal opportunity to actually write the Doctor for once.
Having inseminated the producer, I obviously was obliged to work for Comic Relief at that stage. Since Sue, and it was Sue that I inseminated rather than Richard Curtis, suggested that we do a Doctor Who Comic Relief sketch because I like Doctor Who. And that was a minimum of research, really.
It's a fantastic match with Comic Relief. What we always try and do is little tiny specials, using as many famous people as we can. And this is such a good one because the format, Doctor Who itself, is, as it were, as famous, stroke more famous than the people we've actually got in it. So it's a perfect little Comic Relief thing.
Where are we, Doctor?
The planet Tercerus, once home to the Tercerons, the most peace-loving and kindly race I've ever encountered.
The first person we asked was Rowan, because I knew he'd always wanted to play Doctor Who. So he said yes instantly. So he's the first one.
Say hello to the sofa of reasonable comfort.
Second one, Richard E. Grant, who does something for us every year. He's playing the quite handsome Doctor.
Cute, sexy, and lick the mirror handsome. A vain, sex maniac. Typecasting.
Jim Broadbent is playing the shy Doctor.
Oh, bugger! I've been the bashful Doctor Who. The shy version, who doesn't he has a life for about 15 seconds, I think. That's about his lot.
One of the problems of changing personas, so unpredictable.
And then Hugh Grant is playing the handsome Doctor.
Oh dear, now look at that. I've gone and used up 3 whole bodies in just under a minute, all because I forgot to unplug first.
Obviously a lifelong ambition, finally fulfilled, so it was a very special day for me.
Hugh is an actor of enormous variety and skill, who basically feels he has to do what I tell him to when it comes to comic relief. He did a great thing 4 years ago, where the public paid £1 million for him to kiss Dawn French.
£1 million?
Yes,
Dawn.
I know.
Close your eyes, lie back and think of England, for God's sake.
Emma, look. I've got etheric beam locators.
I was just now Hugh Grant, and luckily I've turned into me.
And then the final Doctor is Joanna Lumley, who is really the most attractive of the Doctors, and once went to Eritrea for comic relief and has always done stuff for us, so no one escapes. Comic relief is like a Dalek, it exterminates people's free time.
The hands.
With such a positive galaxy of top Hollywood talent on hand to play the Doctor, who on earth could portray his evil adversary?
You know, if you're going to spy on me, you really should turn the speaker off.
Well, Jonathan Bright's fantastic as the Master. I mean, he's just so brilliant. I mean, the funny thing is you can't imagine anybody else playing it. You know, I mean, I know everybody has, I think, but he takes the mantle so wonderfully. I mean, we looked at some of the old tape at the start. You know, I just showed him a couple of pictures, but he just had no real idea.
I'm sorry, I cannot be referred to as Jonathan. You must call me the Master. Right?
Wonderful, but sneaky, and even as we speak, which is something that Jonathan Pryce needs to do to get into character. Famed for it, Madonna. I think he wants to continue doing that in other roles.
Before, be it James Bond, be it Hamlet, be it whose line is it anyway? This is the pinnacle of my career. Could be the end of my career as well. I think that's more likely.
I'm going to kill the Doctor with my bare hands. In Welsh. Die, boyo. Die.
I mean, he's an ace baddie anyway, if he wants to be. And he just takes on that sort of manic, megalomaniac quality rather too well, actually, I would say.
It's impossible to leave this part behind me, as you can see now. This is my tea break, for God's sake, and I cannot get rid of this part. It possesses me entirely.
Of course, the Doctor never travels anywhere without his beautiful assistant. Together, they're the Richard and Judy of intergalactic space travel.
Doctor, will you stop showing off? You've got something to tell the Master. Just tell him.
The Doctor really benefits only by having an audience with him. In other words, if he didn't have his beautiful young assistant, Emma, or whoever with him at that time, I don't think he would behave the way he did. So I think one of the great things about it is the fact that he and the Master, both Time Lords, actually only operate in front of someone adoringly looking up at them saying, "How did you do that?"
I'll explain later.
And I think that is the key to their characters in all cases. They're basically show-offs.
I can communicate with the Master by carefully controlled breaking of wind.
Could I be tied to a different chair?
Silence!
Well, she never really got to do much, did she, the assistant? So it was always...
For pity's sake, let me go!
Speak when you are told to speak!
The only one I remember is Louise Jameson, who was a very sexy, sort of intelligent doctor's assistant. And I spoke to her a couple of weeks ago, and I got a few hints off her. Not as far as the sexy part is concerned, but as far as the intelligent part is concerned.
So what can you do with that, then?
What?
You don't know, do you?
Yeah, it feels great, actually. I mean, a long time ago, I was asked to go for an audition for the real Doctor Who. I didn't really fancy it at the time. So this, I'm getting my chance to do it now. Sort of the spoof version of it, which is a lot more fun, and because it's for such a good cause as well.
I anticipated, naturally. You're travelling back in time, and I travel back in time to an even further point in time I travelled back. I bribed the architect first.
Time.
There's not one person around here who hasn't got some memory of either sitting behind a sofa or hiding under their mother's coat or whatever when it had Doctor Who on.
I used to watch them when I was younger. I think they're fantastic. I think they're fun. I remember like John Pertwee, and actually my son looks like John Pertwee without curlers. So no, I mean, I think it's a great British tradition and more fun than you can say.
I was a great Doctor Who fan right from the word go. William Hartnell, I'll go right the way through.
William Hartnell, I thought was brilliant. I had no idea, he just couldn't remember his lines. I thought it was sort of brilliant acting.
Oh dear, now where were we? Ah, yes, of course, yes.
I think William Hartnell was absolutely my favourite Doctor Who that has been involved in this process today. He looked remarkably like Joanna Lumley. I think it's extraordinary how he has transmogrified himself after all these years, come back to join us in this wonderful enterprise.
You've come back to life, and this time you're a woman.
Really? I've always wanted to get my hands on one of these.
Unfortunately, I haven't.
Well, it has been proposed many times that the Doctor could gender swap, and I think maybe they should have done it in the series when it was ailing towards the end. I think pushing that panic button might have been quite fun. But then, if you're going to cast a female Doctor, I think we've got the best one you could possibly have.
You are rather gorgeous.
I'm not bad, am I?
I feel as though as long as it's all right by Stephen Moffat, it's all right by us, because he feels as though that was always a possibility. And I think it was mooted at some point that the Doctor might be a woman. He's not human. He's got two hearts, so there's no reason he shouldn't take on a female body, I believe.
I think they'll be cautious at first, tentative, and finally overwhelmingly supportive. I think they're going to adore it.
Well, Joanna, only time will tell. Those Doctor Who fans are a tricky bunch, but never fear, our gallant crew have done their homework.
I poured my way through the books that existed, and I've watched something like 15 hours of tapes, some of it 2 or 3 times, and tried to sort of distill what I hope is everybody's idea of Doctor Who. Because obviously it has changed enormously. One forgets actually how much it has changed since the sort of William Hartnell days, right through Sylvester McCoy, right through to the movie sort of Paul McGann version.
I am the Doctor!
Pain, tears and torture, all part of the thespians' efforts to immerse themselves in the characters of Doctor Who. It's a psychological minefield, even for our trained professionals.
I find the inspiration for the role of Master to come from the cosmos itself. I draw my energy from various zectronic energy beam controllers which are facilitated around the set. And I find tea helps.
I'm a virgin to this whole world, so I'm afraid my inspiration is completely by osmosis from my interplanetary surroundings. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Well, I'm one of those actors that likes to keep certain things secret. It comes from very, very deep, my performances, and especially today. And if you don't mind, I'd like to keep that sort of to myself.
I spent most of my childhood researching for this part, and then during my son's childhood, and then during today watching all the other Doctor Who's, and I'm feeling confident. I'm getting a grip of the role. I love it.
I did extensive research for this role. Of course, there have been many masters in the past, and I looked long and intently at a photograph of one of them for seconds. Yeah, I'll do. The Master's laugh it's not really a laugh. It's a war cry. You see, subtle difference. Laugh. Master is I'm coming to get you. I'm coming to kill you. You see? You see the difference? It's a marvellous process. It's come from years of watching Brian Blessed work.
I'm going to kill the Doctor with my own bare hands. Die, Doctor! Die!
I've been crushed. I think we had a spike of doom. Do we fall through a trapdoor? Yes, I think we do.
Prepare yourself for 500 miles of fear and physics.
Having fun.
Don't worry. I believe he knows the way out.
It takes a man who regularly doubles for that splendid Scot, Sean Connery, to perform one of the most dangerous stunts ever committed to film.
While I'm playing the Master in Doctor Who, I'm doing the stunt, falling through the trapdoor.
Nice fall. Okay down there? Okay?
It's just standing on the trapdoor and making sure you don't hit the edges. Simple as that.
Goodbye, forever, Mr. and Mrs. Doctor.
And that's basically it.
End of day one, I would say it was a success. I'm still standing up, I'm still smiling. It's gone well. I mean, it's very difficult because we're actually working on 4 sets at the same time. We have problems. We have bits of blue screen to stick in. We have effects. We have stone blocks that fall over. We have things that revolve. We have spikes of doom that aren't spiky. But no, it's been very successful. Very good day.
Day one over, the stuntman is allowed to return to his stunt home, and the production is bang on time. But there's no room to dilly-dally.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Okay.
Every new day starts with assembly in the main hall and a briefing on the very latest technology.
So that extends, David, yes?
Yes, yeah. Whoa. There you go.
My God. And this one just wobbles about?
It does, just wobble.
I see.
And this is the first for me to work with Daleks. I must say that it's been quite enjoyable so far, although I don't want to... they don't scare me. They do scare a lot of people. It's very interesting how everybody's walked up to them and sort of the hand's gone out and don't quite touched it because they're not quite certain.
Oh my God!
The only ridiculous thing is when you hear things like the Daleks have been called for 8 o'clock. I think that sort of makes you laugh a little bit.
Yep, we've had them all through here. Ryan Atkinson, Joanna Lumley, but the Daleks are the worst. They always want the Brussels sprouts.
No, I mean, it's really 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. Exterminate.
That's good.
Yeah, that's
okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought up until I arrived here that it'd be quite fun to be a Dalek, but they're very, very small inside, and they bump into things, and you can't really exterminate. So it's really like being in a sort of running around in a bit of 60s pop art and casters.
I'm never going to be a Dalek again. It's rubbish.
Exterminate me, Stephen. Come on.
That's married man. Look, will you people let me focus? I would like a look at my life in a moment of quietness to study and collect my performance. You people are just standing around sort of wittering away.
Fortunately, I think the most fearsome Doctor Who monster for me is the Daleks. I was once allowed to go to, I think that Momi, they had a Doctor Who exhibition. You were allowed to step inside the Dalek and then talk, and it actually did do the funny voice, and I felt very proud and very scared at the same time. So I'm next to the King of Terror here.
We are the masters of Earth.
The Daleks still scare me. I still have nightmares about them. And I feel that today's been useful in that respect as well, in exercising some of those fears. And I think I can go forward in life now, a more centred human being.
Have you seen this? Look.
This is just pretend. It's wood, Julia, wood. You, of all people, should know about wood.
That's it. I'm never working for you again.
I'll double your salary.
Always a Dalek. Always the most frightening things. The sight of the Daleks coming around the corner is just more terrifying than my agent not calling me, you know.
I don't want to offend any Daleks, but they are unique. Toilet plunging uniqueness.
Stop! I can't hear you. A spot of tea for you, my darling. That's his eye! You may think that's my eye.
Rounding up a battalion of Daleks is never an easy task, but say hello to the Davos of Shoreham by Sea.
These Daleks were built maybe 3 or 4 years ago for our own amateur purposes. We were doing an amateur production of Doctor Who. I built the domes, then a bit more, then a bit more, and now there's like 4 of them. And since then, they've been an absolute pig to store. We weren't quite sure how to build the Daleks. Guesswork most of the time. Naturally, there's a sink plunger, bits of plastic, loads of wood, lungs full of sawdust, and loads of patience.
At the moment, you've got controls inside, so you can move the head round and the eye, and all the gun sticks and plungers move. Other than that, you just sit on a little seat and push it round with your feet. So it's all manual. It gets a bit cramped up top. Down below, it's not too bad. But the main thing is people tend to forget you're inside them and walk off and leave you.
No, I'm sorry. Is the person in here still? Or person gone? Oh, sweetheart. Little hot breath coming out of the railings. I can feel like a kind of caged hamster.
You can go at quite a speed if the floor's good and you're confident about where you're going, because vision is not excellent in these things. The worst accident I've ever had is when I fell off the side of a curb and tipped over sideways. And one of the big problems in these is that you can't put your foot down to stop yourself. Luckily, I didn't have to go to casualty and explain myself.
As far as I know, none of my Daleks have ever been out of the house on their own. Never been to parties. We don't take them to conventions. We only use them for our own film.
Is this the way you treat all your guests?
Until today. Until the day we were called up by the BBC. Stardom. These guys have now rank along with the others.
All of them were destroyed.
As day 2 ends, the Daleks are put to bed, a man shimmers a shimmery thing, and the crew bond in a quiet moment. The final day of the shoot, and everyone's still looking splendid, thanks to that brave lass from the costume department.
It's absolutely necessary.
Just wondering if I not wear the jacket when I wear the cloak, so it's a bit tight. Right. Do you have one on the other side?
So sorry.
I'll take it.
Yeah. This is the Master's costume, and because he goes through 4 different costume changes altogether, i.e. when he first meets Doctor Who, then 312, 612 and 900.
Wait for me!
We had to make a black see-through cape on top, which we would then put alien poo on. And then it would get vaguely dirtier and dirtier and dirtier. And then in that corner there you see there's a whole load of lettuce, and I nearly brought my baby's nappies in, but not quite.
Bless you! Oh, God, haven't got a handkerchief.
And then you have something called cobweb spray, which is basically glue in an aerosol tin, but it makes a cobweb. Oh, I got it. The powers and wonder of filmmaking. Usually, in a normal production, you would have 4 costumes, so that you wouldn't have any of this problem of continuity and making sure the first one looked pristine. But we haven't got much money because all the money is going to go to better causes.
She's a feisty filly, that one, no mistake. Meanwhile, the filming continues on sets so realistic you'd think you're in orbit. These are top-notch creations, mind, built from the finest space-age materials.
Right, the TARDIS is essentially made out of hardboard and wood to get the basic structure right. And on top of that, all the controls are made out of things like ping-pong balls and Christmas tree lights.
People are always asking how long it takes to make a TARDIS console. I don't really know. I mean, it's just something we've worked on occasions, weekends and stuff like that, like the rest of the things we do. But I do know one thing. These ping-pong balls drove me absolutely mad. Sanding the damn things down. It's crazy. I think if you're going to try and make a copy of something, you want to get it reasonably right. I mean, we just sort of work from photographs, so I don't think there's an accurate measurement in it. But it just gives the impression of what it's meant to be. And they liked it here, so it's been fun. I think Comic Relief contacted us because there was, I think, an article done on amateur films. And they just liked the look of the set and the Daleks and all the walls and stuff. So we're quite happy to provide.
Of course, the difficult part's landing.
Now she tells us.
Everybody is generally has a hobby, and it's nice to have a hobby with an actual physical result.
Now!
From our point of view, it was built for a specific purpose, and we just got carried away a little bit. But it's fine. I don't see that there's any harm in it.
Close to the end of a gruelling shoot, and our actors prepare for one final emotional scene.
What's going on there? I thought a Dalek said something, didn't they?
No.
Have we cut all my lines then?
Very serious Doctor Who fans will be offended, I suppose, but then very serious Doctor Who fans are offended by a large amount of Doctor Who. They don't like it when it's played for laughs, as Tom Baker did sometimes.
Even the sonic screwdriver won't get me out of this one.
They didn't like Paul McGann having a snog in the most recent movie. But I think the majority of Doctor Who fans don't take it that seriously because it's not a seriously intended programme. There's a lot of fun in Doctor Who, a lot of comedy. Douglas Adams wrote some Doctor Who stories and they were very funny indeed.
So then the Dalek speaks, then you speak, then I speak.
I speak. I speak, Dalek speak, then you speak.
If you know what Doctor Who was really like, as opposed to have gone completely mad and think it was a serious, gritty space drama, then I don't think you'll find anything to offend you in this. Well, maybe the sonic screwdriver joke.
Oh, look, it's got 3 settings. Doctor, stop that!
I'm trying not to send it up. You don't want to send it up. It isn't necessary. It is funny because everybody playing in it is very funny. And what they do is very funny, but you don't send up the fact that the budgets were always so restricted and the sets were slightly wobbly and things like that. Well, it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Performances always saw them through in those early stages, and I scared a load of kids for all their years, including me when I was tiny.
Hopefully getting the tone of it right, so we're making a comedy out of Doctor Who rather than a joke out of Doctor Who. Because Doctor Who was quite funny anyway, and it wasn't above poking fun at itself, and that's what we're doing in a mild, loving, affectionate way.
And it'll never be safe to be scared again. Who are we going to call now?
Well, my agent, because you cut my lines.
Oh, bollocks!
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a wrap. Well done. Thank you very much.
So it's all over, but the big question remains, will the Doctor ever be back for good?
I'd love to do Doctor Who for real, but I don't know if they've got any serious plans to resurrect it, and I hope we haven't written it off forever. We certainly used up the rest of the Doctor's incarnations, so we might have, but hopefully not.
No, I'd definitely be up for it. That would be incredibly exciting.
I'd say, yes, please! I'd adore that.
I think the Doctor seemed to be getting younger and handsomer, and I'm going the other way, so I think I've missed out on that one.
Well, I gotta tell you, that's not a decent career. No wonder the Daleks are so pissed off with everybody.
Never work with Daleks and children, that's for sure. Right. Okay, oh look, he's only 3 foot tall. Off he goes. Hey, thanks for coming.